Welcome back to the channel. We are here again with my infected garbage can of a Chevrolet S10 Blazer, model year 1997, name Johansson. Playlist link up there and down the description. Trying to chase down an engine oil leak we've had on it. I already have a video where I tried to pressure wash the engine and that was a good first pass, but I ended up having to get this thing up on ramps and actually remove his skid plate off the bottom, which I'm thankful actually came off, and just go to work on the thing. In that first video, I mentioned this thing has a remote mount oil filter and that I think it's just a couple hoses leaking. And a couple of commenters said, oh yeah, you should be lucky if that's the case. Let's take a look at what that actually looks like and I'll show you why that isn't lucky. Just for your own reference, this is the front drive shaft. This chunk is the front differential. Swing on under here. That oily mess right there is the filter adapter. With that out of the way, I think the thing we're going to do now is get the thing heated up to temperature nicely and drop the engine oil that's in it, which I've never changed oil in this thing. When it came home, it had probably less than a quart in it, and I just put whatever I had in it, including some used snow thrower oil, just to get it up to full on the stick. I did spin an oil filter onto it at that time, and it's probably got 3 or 4 idle hours on it and like 3 miles of driving maybe in that time. So now everything's cleaned up. We're going to drop that oil out of it, spin a new filter on it, and then we're going to add some of this stuff to it, which is just oil dye. I have used this before in the tractor. It works really nicely. The idea is you put in whatever measured amount they tell you to. I actually put the entire bottle in the tractor. This stuff's kind of expensive, so that was overkill. But you just put some in the oil, and then you can go over your leaking item with a UV flashlight, and this stuff lights up like a blacklight poster. So this stuff is super handy. I will link it down in the description, but that is going to be the next phase of trying to figure out just where this nasty turd is leaking from. As luck would have it, I just dropped the bottle and apparently put a nice crack in it. But it's a good opportunity to show you what this stuff looks like in the wild. You don't actually need UV glasses or a UV flashlight to see it. It just helps. And that's going to probably look like a crime scene over here for the rest of time. Awesome. Alrighty, so she's had a significant time to warm up. This exhaust pipe, I'm sure, is plenty hot, so I'm doing this from the front. Alright. There are obvious impact marks on that drain plug, so I'm delighted that it just came out, or rather got loose. Get ready to see the world's blackest engine oil. If I can do this without burning myself horrifically, that'd be great. Oh yeah. And bear in mind that stuff's only got a couple hours on it. It is also real thin. It is of course also hot. On the plus side, I bought a magnetic drain plug for this thing, but it looks like this one already is. On the negative side, there's a whole bunch of stuff on it. Yeah, that oil is real thin. Real thin. Yeah, that is not exactly what you want out of a, well worn in motor. Holy crap, I think this is way worse than I thought it was even. Yeah, like the whole end of the plug just wiped off. So that's all metal. Holy. This is bad. Yeah, so that's all some amount of metal. I'm betting it is. Maybe we're lucky in some of it's sludge. I'll check this paper towel with a magnet here when we get done. At least that is a reasonably strong magnet. It'll at least hold its own weight, which is nice. I believe this is the one we're going to replace it with. I can feel it's even stronger. Let's see if this is the correct thread. I believe so. Yep, that's the right guy. That's good. Just out of curiosity, let's see if this one picked up anything just since we just rammed it in, or if that's just oil. No, it picked up stuff. Holy crap. Actually, I think I'm going to get some brake clean and shoot it up in the pan. Normally, I would say that's probably not a great idea, but this ain't a normal kind of vehicle. I'm just kind of working it around. Now what's really going to happen is this thing's just going to get several proper oil changes once we get our problems ironed out. Now, I have changed the oil filter before, so this one should come off pretty nicely. I have these oil filter sockets, and this one works okay-ish. It's plastic, which is not my favorite. Just going to let it dribble like that for a minute so I don't make the world's biggest mess doing this. Alrighty. Let's take a minute here and just wipe down the face a little. I'm just using Delco filters here because they were cheap. I can see that our oil pan's down to just barely a drip, so I think we're done draining oil. As for our choice of engine oil, this is going to be a Love-Is oil change, or in other words, what I got. We have a bunch of random grab bags of partials back there that have been in storage for 10 years. And this jug of Amazon oil I bought like 2 years ago for this thing. So we're going to throw that in there. I'll probably start with whatever's in here. It's about a full quart. And then we'll add our dye. Well, we'll probably grab this and that 530 of Mobil 1 because I'm going to need that guy back for the dye itself since I broke the bottle. Come to think of it, this 30 weight bottle is probably newer. So trying to read this upside down because the split's up here. It says use a 1/4 ounce per quart. So this is saying I would use like a full ounce. I'm just going to use what looks like a lot. Before I go that far, I'm going to dump it into my reserve bottle. Let's try this again. That seems like plenty. Yeah, we'll go heavy, why not? Everything I ever fill with that funnel for the end of time is probably going to end up with dye in it as well. I'm not sure that was new oil. It's kind of dark. So it looks like that might have been ATF. I don't know. That's why we're getting rid of this crap. This is definitely new oil. It's just kind of dark. The last stuff probably was the same story. We'll add a fair bit of our Amazon oil. And then we'll probably get it down on the ground and check our level. Considering we know it runs with like less than a quart in it, we should be okay. Wow, this bottle's so cheap it doesn't even have a sight gauge. Start it up and see if it rattle-tat-tat-tas everywhere. Up on oil pressure. Slowly but surely. Kind of chilled out at 20 pounds there for a minute and then stuttered up to 40 and now it's up at 60. So probably just working some air out of that filter housing. Get her back down on the ground. Alrighty, so there she is, lit off and running, all full of oil. I don't know how long this video is getting to be, but I imagine by the time I find the leak, repair the leak, all that crap, it'd be way too long. So we're just going to call this one the inaugural oil change for this thing. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping in for this video. We'll catch you on the next one. Just for fun, this is the rag I wiped all the sludge off with. This is a pretty strong magnet. And I can see that's a oh yeah. So that wasn't all sludge. It was mostly metal. So there on the ground you can see the primary wad of it. It won't quite support the weight. Oh yeah, it will. If I'm real careful, I think I can pick up the whole towel. Just about. So that's bad. Everything that was on that magnet, and there was a lot of it there, was all metal. Obviously, we'll keep up on that condition and we'll see what the future brings. I'm not asking for a lot out of this thing, just about 10,000 miles. Just come on, 10 grand.